Hello everybody, Elias5891 here with another KTANE module tutorial. This time we're going over the Tetriamonds? I'm not sure how to say it right. This module. I did one on Tetriamonds not too long ago. This is kind of its follow-up, its partner module. They are tied together into a single mod pack. So let's take a look at the general look of it. We don't need edge work. It's up there, but we can ignore it. That clock, so it's kind of annoying. So just like before, we've got 6 triangles that make the hexagon. It's turned slightly different this way. Instead of being tilted up down, they're now tilted left or right. There are 7 colors now to choose from, which you can module. They are orange, lime, jade, azure, violet, gray, and rose. I do have colorblind mode on, which gives you the same letters as used by this grid. So how do you do this mod? Well, it's kind of like Tetriamonds, but it's a little bit harder. Part of that stems from some of the more visual, spatial aspects. So we're going to look at 3 of them, go over the 3 basic rules here. I will warn you that the 3rd one that I'm going to cover is kind of hard to go over, but I will do my best. So let's start with this. Again, I usually EF him, so I don't know if there's a different meta, but my suggestion on reading this is start at 12 o'clock, read all the colors clockwise that are on your grid. You'll notice that you'll always be missing 1. Read all the colors on your grid, and then read out the 3 that are rotating or pulsing out in order. In this case, it would be an AVOJEL with pulses 6, 3, 4, or LOJ. Alright, so what do we do with this? Well, first we gotta figure out which colors we're gonna push. Push. I say that kind of loosely. We're gonna look at that particular graph. It's gonna be the only time we really look at this graph. We're gonna pull the 3 colors, LOJ. If none of them are gray, or the 2 that aren't gray are next to each other, your colors are the unselected 4. Well, I don't have a gray one, so my 4 in this case are going to be the unselected 4. So the 4 colors other than LOJ are EXVA. We're going to come back to determining shape, because truthfully I did this first, and you'll see it's pretty simple. Determining order. We always start an empty array. We're going to take the pulsing colors in order, LOJ. Then, for each pulsing triangle, we're going to add the next color clockwise that we haven't already used. Got L, O, J already used. And keep in mind, we wrote these in clockwise order, so it's just the next one we wrote down. So after L comes A, which we haven't used. After O, we're just looking at the 3 originals. After O is J, but we've used J. After that would be E. J is obviously going to get the leftover letter. Already used E, already used L, already used A, haven't used B yet. And then last you're going to add the color that wasn't on the module at all. In this case, gray. So, that is my order. And we'll go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and take note of this part. We know these are the 4 colors that we care about, EXVA. Well, the order for those 4, AEVX. We're going to keep that in mind. The 3rd thing we're going to do right now is determining shape, and usually I do this first. We're only going to do 1 rule. Step 1, if they're all 3 pulsating the same orientation, we're going to make a triangle. What does it mean if they're all pulsing in the same direction? Well, if you look at this one, those are all right arrows. So that's going to be a triangle. If the first 2 match, then you have a rhomboid. Here, the first 2 that pulsed out here were right, right, then a left. This is going to be a rhomboid. However, if the first 2 don't match, then it's a U-shape. U-shapes are the easiest. Shapes are also the most common, assuming that everything is equally likely to get picked, which I believe they are. There's a 60% chance that you're going to get a U-shape. 30% on rhomboid, 10% on triangle. Most of the time you're getting a U shape, like this one. This is a U shape. If say you're experting this was number 6, this was number 3. Even ones and odd ones are always going to be pointed different ways. So ones and odd ones and even, they're different directions. It's a U shape. So what does this mean? Well, we're going to do constructing shape. We're going to look at this grid. For U shape, we're going to look at the hexagonal graph, which is this one. Triangles, this is for rhomboids. We're going to look at this one. Notice that's the same shape as what I have on the module. So we're going to look at the hexagonal graph. And we're going to put the colors we have in place where we can. Have a rose. Rose goes here. Have the E is rose. That goes there. Have A for azure. Azure goes here. B for violet goes here. X is not on the grid. Gray be anywhere. But we don't have gray on the grid. So it's a wild card. Now our goal is to get 4 in a row. Kind of like with the Tetriamonds, we want 3 adjacent, here we want 4. So we can put the gray here, here, or here. Now, one of the rules is we have to be able to make 4 in a row, and we have to be able to make a single 4 in a row. We have a problem here. I can put the gray one here, get 4 in a row, or here and get 4 in a row. My module doesn't really care which one I do. So, what we have here is an invalid shape. There are multiple possibilities, here or here for gray. No preference, it's an invalid shape. This is actually a case that doesn't pop up a ton. It does often enough, but it's not every module. If we have an invalid one, what we do is we factor a little list of colors that we're actually caring about. We're going to remove the last one that's not gray. Goodbye V. And we're going to replace it with the first non-gray color in order that we can. We're going to look back at the original full order, which is why I wrote the whole thing down. We're going to use the first color, L. Obviously L is at the beginning of this list. So instead of, what did I remove? I removed violet. That's not removing. But I added lime. Where does lime go? Lime goes up here. Well, even if I put gray into that, that's not going to work either. The lime's not a valid color to add in. Okay, well, we're just going to keep looking for the first available non-gray color that does work. So we'll take out the L. Put in an O instead. Again, O comes before the others. And notice we're not removing the rose now and putting it in with the lime. We're only removing that one color from our original set. And we're just going to keep plugging things until something fits. In this case, we have orange here. Okay, now we've got something. I can throw the gray in here. And now I have 4 in a row. This is the only spot I can put the gray in where I get 4 in a row. So this, my answer. What does that mean that that's my answer? Well, I'm going to take these 4 colors in this order. I'm going to figure out where they are on this grid. O, A, E, X. And I'm going to submit those positions on my grid. As an EFMer, I don't have to worry about that. If I'm not EFMing, I'd probably just explicitly state the directions. Top left, bottom right, middle left, bottom left. Put the 4 in, and it closes up, just like Tetriamonds does. That was kind of a weird example. Let's do one more, see if we can get a little more straightforward. This one will work. Colors are OJX, BEA, and my cycle is XJE, that's 325. Alright, well, first up, like I say, first up I like to determine the shape. This one, X, J, different directions, shape. We know that. Okay, so we're going to take the positions, X, J, and E. Now the colors are gray, or the non-grays are adjacent. Not the case. Colors are the unselected. Nope. If the three colors form a straight line on the graph, X, J, E, they actually do. It's a straight horizontal line. Colors are the selected colors, so X, J, E, plus the first unselected color clockwise on the module from the first pulsating triangle. I'm going to take the X, the first thing that was pulsing, and I'm going to go clockwise till I get to a color I haven't used. Clockwise from the X would be V. So there's my colors. X, J, V, in that order. Let's get the full order. It's going to be X, J, E. Next color after X is V, obviously. Next after J is X, we've used V, we've used E, we've used A. Next after E is A, we've used O. And the color that's not on the module is L, lime. So that's my full sequence of colors. Alright? So this is what I'm looking for. Hey, I had them in the right order earlier. Right? We said that this is a U shape. Look at this grid. Look at the colors we got. Got jade. Sure, this can be jade for right now. Goes here. Gray we don't know yet. Rose goes here. Violet goes here. If I stick gray in here as a wild card, I get my 4 in a row. So I want to hit them in X, this one, J, V order. X, J, E, V. Now, coincidentally, that happens to be the letters that I have on the module in that order. That is not usually the case. It's just kind of a funny coincidence that I didn't even rule seed this one to make that happen. So I'm pleasantly surprised that it did. I'm going to do one more of these real quick, and then we'll move on to triangles. Next one is B, or the pattern is LEJXAV. I have BLA pulsing. Alright, V and A, sorry, V and L are obviously pulsing different directions, so it's a U shape. BLA, I didn't pick gray, so none of my colors are gray. The 4 unselected colors, that would be J, X, and O. Alright, full order, BLA. The next things after each one order. After V is L, then E. After L is E, then J. After A is whatever letter's left. No V, no L, no E, J, X. And then whatever color was left out. O. Hey, I guess the order right. Let's plug these in. Have rose, jade, orange. Then we need gray to make 4 in a row. That's this one. And there we go. Want to do rose, J, X is taking the place of my L, O. That's finished. Alright. That's U shape. U shape is easy. Ish. Look at triangles now. Triangle's a little tougher. Not too bad. This one's a triangle. My pattern is O, B, L, J, E, X. Pulsing is E, O, L. First up, let's get my important colors. I don't have gray, so it's 4 non-grays. J, X, A. Yes. Let's get my full order. It's E, O, L. Whatever comes after E, that's X. Whatever comes after O, that's V. Whatever comes after L is J. A left over. Not get the order right that time, but that's okay. Luck. We decided that this is a triangle because all 3 pulse triangles are in the same direction. You notice they're all 3 odd. So we're going to look at the triangles here. Now, there's instructions there. I'm going to be honest. Here's what we're going to do. Of these 2 grids, do my color choices match either one almost completely. Do I cover 3 of the 4 spaces in the triangles with the colors that I have? So I'm going to do this real quick. Just paste that over for just a second. My 4 colors are X, B, X is one of these two, B, J, and A. And you'll notice the bottom one, I've highlighted 3 out of the 4, so that's the triangle I care about. This bottom one here, with the O sticking out. So let's focus on it for a second. The colors that we have in the grid, this little triangle, that we care about are going to remain their proper color. So I have a violet, I have a jade, so those are going to keep their normal colors. Now I could put the X where the X goes, but then where would the A go? Well, it can't go on the O. But remember, X is wild both when I place it and when it's on the grid. So I can't put the X on the X, because then my A can't go anywhere. What I can do is I can take this A that I'm stuck with, and put it in wildcard spot, and then take my gray, which is wild, and put it up here. That seems maybe a little counterintuitive, but that's kind of what we're aiming to do here, is we want to take the, when it covers, if it covered all 4 of the 4, obviously, they just go where they go. When it covers 3 of the 4, whichever color is missing on the triangle goes in the X's spot, whichever spot is left over, the X fills in. The joys of having a wild card. So this is my thing. You'll notice this is not the shape of a hexagon. That's a problem. Well, what do we do about it? Well, and this time it does kind of detail nicely. Map the triangle onto the hexagon. A wraparound is required, so wrap around the last outer triangle. What? What does that mean? Well, what that means is we have an order, and we know we're hitting the azure last, which is not an outer triangle. That's the inner one. So before that, we're hitting jade last. Of the 3 on the outside, the gray, the violet, the jade, we're hitting jade last. What we're going to take is keeping in mind the hexagon shape that we want, which is kind of what we see over here on the grid, and also what we see when I move this ugly little prop. We're going to take the jade section, and we're going to throw it across the rest of the shape. We're going to take this, and we're going to throw it over here. Sorry, up top. Now, obviously that doesn't greatly look like a hexagon, because I don't have the other 2 triangle pieces in here. Kind of imagine it, if I drew the other 2, I have a hexagon with my 4 colors I care about. This is the order we're going to hit them in. Now, if, say, this had ended in the O, needed to move the O, then that would work the same way. We'd take the O. This is going to really be an ugly crop. Try to crop just for a second. Take the O and fling it across. And we'd have our shape. Or we could throw the V across. Or okay, those are the only 3 options. I'm going to throw one of the 3 outer triangles across. But like we said, J is the one that we're clicking last, so J is the one that kind of gets flung across, like so. We're going to put the lines back in for the rest of the triangles, just so we can kind of see the shape a little better. An ugly hexagon, I'm sorry. The order we're going to push things in is wherever the X on this is, which is the right-hand side. I did not get that in time. And wherever the violet is, then the J, then the A. Remember the A is, oh, I've made an error, so I'm going to get a strike. Remember, this X is not an X. This A, as the coloring shows, is the azure. This is the gray. Let's try that again. We're going to hit the gray position, then violet, then jade, and azure. Letters are tricky. I would illustrate again, but I don't know that I'm going to have another triangle on this set. Remember, you've only got a 10% chance. Doesn't look like it. That's okay, so we'll go to rhomboid. I don't know what just happened, but my screen just changed colors. Okay, rhomboids are the worst. I don't know that I agree with that, but a lot of people seem to think so. A rhomboid is anyone where the first two match, and the third one doesn't. So we'll use this one as an example. AEVOXL, and for our pulses, we have XAO. Alright, so let's look at the grid. XAO, it is a straight line. If they're in a straight line, your colors are the selected colors. XAO, plus the first one clockwise from the first pulse. And after the X is the L. That's what I'm going to grab in order. My full order, XAO. After the X is the L, after the A is the E. Obviously the V is going to be the last one, and then we have whatever is not on there, the J. So XAOL is the order I want. X and A are both odds, however O is even. This is one of these shapes. Well, what the heck do I do with that shape? Well, this is the one that throws people off, and I 100% understand why. I had to really work with this and have somebody, truthfully, I had to have somebody assist me, which not a thing that I'm used to A, doing, or B, admitting. So I'm going to move this over here for a minute, so I can make some more room. And this is going to be a crappy looking artistic drawing, so I apologize. I usually do this with paper pencil, so bear with me. So we're going to take this pattern. This is what we use for the rhomboid. Get this out a little bit. Go. Well, we're going to highlight the 4 colors we have, and we, just like with the U shape, we want 4 in a row. So, color them all white real quick. Color the ones we have. These don't highlight as nicely as I'd like. Apparently none of them do this time. Close enough. Alright, so what are the 4 colors we have? We have an X, which I'm going to leave alone first. We have an A for azure, fill in the A. We have an O for orange, we'll fill that back in. We have an L for lime, fill that in. Then can we make 4 in a row? We can actually, and this is beyond convenient. We can fill in the jade one. I don't quite have a jade, that's going to have to do. There we go. Totally not the color I clicked. That's jade. Which in this case is X. Actually, I don't know why I bothered making it jade. This is my gray. That gives me 4 connected ones. Hurrah! We have 4 connected ones. Well, what do we do with them now? Obviously, that's not going on a hexagon. That's 6 in a row. Hexagon only has 3 in a row in a single direction. This is the one that gives people the most trouble. Here's what we're going to do with it. We're going to put the colors in. Then notice, this has this little circular connector. Because this kind of goes in an infinite pattern of this. The idea is you want 6 colors with the 4 you care about being in the center. Now, by pure coincidence, the original order is what we had this time. These 4 in the middle are the 4 that I'm clicking. So that simplifies things a ton. So, step 1, get your pattern of 6. The 4 in the center should be the 4 you're going to click. Step 2, make a hexagon out of this. Do that. Go back to freeform. We're going to cut this in the middle. Try that again. Careful around the top as well. I think that's pretty good. So cut it in half. We're going to leave the first half alone, and we're going to just paste the other half, make a hexagon. Obviously, the only place we're going to make a hexagon here, down here. So that's my hexagon. Sort of. I have a hexagon. That's good. That's better than we were. It's not a line. It's a hexagon of some sort. But that's not the same direction my hexagon is. See, the hexagon on the grid, on the module, has kind of this little point at the top and the bottom. This one has points on the left and right. This needs to be tilted. That's what those arrows on it are for. What we're going to do, this is detailed down here, but some people have some difficulty with it. The arrows are going to line up with the direction between the first and the second triangle that pulsed. So, we're EFMing it right now. We'll just look. We're going from this left position to this top right position. So that's kind of a gentle up slant. Now, I unfortunately am using paint, which does not conveniently do rotations of 30 degrees, I think that would be. Sounds right. So, normally I actually have this written down on a piece of paper, and I just tilt my page so it's slanted that way. A little harder to do that digitally. You're going to have to bear with me. And I'm going to real quick see if I can get something to rotate a picture. Alright, so I found this site, which covering up slightly. Online JPEG tools. It lets me copy paste this ugly little image I have here, and I can rotate it. Specifically, I want to rotate this 30 degrees. And notice now my arrows are moving kind of in the same direction as those first two pulses, that X to the A. Notice I've also got a little point up here at the top, a little point down here at the bottom if I hadn't cut it off when I did copy paste. So hey, there we go. So that is my tilted hexagon. What am I going to do with this? Well, this gives me a hexagon that we can map to the module. I just need to hit them in order. I've completely lost my order in my head. What was my order? XAOL. So X being gray, that's our bottom left. Your OL. We'll do one more of these because these are weird and hard. Let's switch back to that. Let's clean up our paint a little bit. Alright, last order. BLA, XOJ, pulsing is XLV. Right. Let's go up here to our little chart. I'll wait for a moment. XLJ. Hey, this is this first rule. Oh, rule 2, but first rule. None of your colors gray, or the non-gray colors are adjacent. Oh, it's LJ, LX. I can't read. Oh, it is a straight line again. Never mind. Where I was getting the J from. So we're back to a straight line. XL, XVL, and then what's clockwise from X? That's an O. After that, what's clockwise from the L? The A. Clockwise from the V, L, X, O, J, and we're not using it. Alright, there's my full order. There's my order of 4 that I'm going to push which 4 I'm going to push and which order they're in. This rule number 4, the one we haven't touched, because this will be the last sample. Otherwise, your colors are the selected colors plus the color opposite on the graph of the first non-gray piece. So if say this hadn't been opposite, say then we look at, well, that's gray, so we go to the next piece, the lime. What's across from the lime? Violet, so we'd add violet. Obviously that doesn't work if it's a straight line because you're already using the color, but that's how we'd find the other one. Alright, confirming X, L, both evens, V is an odd, so yes, this is going to be a rhomboid. So which colors do we have? We need lime, violet, orange. Remember, we need 4 in a row, so gray is going to take the role of E. E. There we go. This is not, again, apologies, this is something I usually do on pencil paper, so trying to digitize it is a little tricky. Alright, so we've got the shape. Keep in mind, we want, however, make our 4 colored ones in the middle. This whole thing loops around. So if I cut here after the J, plop this whole thing to the end, back into view pretty well. Ta-da! Beautiful. Work of art. So, like before, we're going to cut this one right down the middle, put it at the bottom. Now we need tilt. First to second, X to L. It's actually the same 30-degree incline, thank goodness. That'll make things easy. So we'll grab this shape. Back here to my rotated JPEG and paste it in. Refresh the page, and now we're going to paste it in. Now it's having trouble. Of course it is. But, okay, it's already rotated for me. Perfect. I don't know why it did that automatically, but sure, why not? So there's our slant. We're going from the X to the L. That is that sort of gentle curve. We're going to hit these 4 buttons, X, L, V, O. So X is my gray, that's this one. L, V, O. And there's another rhomboid done. I think it's this whole side. That's going to wrap this up. This has already gone a little longer than I wanted. I will come back in the next day or 2 and do another set, a complete 11. Hopefully get another triangle in there because we did only do one of those. But yeah, that's yeah, Tetriamond, this thing. I will state this is been a rough module for me to learn. The spatial aspect, especially of the rhomboid, really tripped me up, and it took somebody, cutting it up and showing me piece by piece for me to fully comprehend. So I understand if, others have that issue and kind of need to see it almost spelled out for them. No shame in that. Sometimes you just need a little extra help. Anyway, that's going to be it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, have a great one. I'll catch you again. Bye.